Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back. Today, we are discussing some of the lies that are holding investors back from getting started in real estate. And if you're a brand new real estate investor, welcome to the channel. So have you ever caught yourself saying, I'd like to invest in real estate, but ... fill in the blank? Today, we're going to crush those 10 biggest excuses that are keeping new investors broke and show you why none of them are real actual barriers to entry if you have the right mindset. Let's go. Let's go. Let's get started. All right. So the first one I want to talk about, the first actual excuse is I don't have enough money. Now, this is a classic one. This is a classic. I mean, I think everybody struggles with this when they're first thinking about getting started in real estate investing. They're like, man, how do you buy a house for an investment, you know? But the truth is, there's lots and lots and lots of money out there, guys. I'll say this, that when you have a deal, finding the money for that deal is a lot easier than you might ever have imagined it would be. But think about it like this. At least I would say 80% of your financing problems are solved out the gate if you have a deal. If you have a decent deal in your pocket. And why I say that is because you can use what's called a hard money lender. Hard money lenders are lenders that they specialize in working with real estate investors, and they primarily are focused on, is this a good deal or not? And if it is, they'll give you the 80% of the money that you need for the deal. They'll give you 80%. So all you really have to worry about is that final 20% when it comes to financing your deal. So what you're really talking about is, let's say the house is $100,000. All you really got to figure out is $20,000. And that applies to pretty much any deal you can come across, more or less than that amount. So most of your money problems are already solved just by using hard money lenders. And again, hard money lenders, they just focus on working with investors, and they don't care so much about your credit history. They don't care so much about your income. They care more so, is it a good deal? And what is your plan with this deal? Does your plan actually make sense? Is it a viable strategy where you want to flip it or keep it as an investment property? Do the numbers make sense? If it makes sense to them, it'll make sense, then they'll usually do the deal. Another source of funding is private lenders. That other 20% they were talking about, you can usually get that from people who are private lenders. And when I say private lenders, that's a lot of times that's people you know. That's your friends, your family members, people in your circle that you already know. There's so many people who could be a private money lender. Think about people like people with W-2 jobs that are sitting in on 401k money. If somebody's got a W-2 job, that type of job, they've been there for a while, oftentimes they have a W-2, and a lot of times they can pull that money out and invest it in a different way. Not to say it's not super complicated, but they can absolutely pull that money out. There's a way for them to do it and invest that money into a real estate transaction. So that is 100% possible. So you probably know a lot more private money lenders than you actually think you do. And you yourself could be a private money lender. You might have a 401k or might have a nest egg somewhere that you can use to invest in real estate. So just get creative. Get creative. Think outside the box. There are no rules as long as you're talking to your circle of people that you already know. There's very few rules against that. Anyway, hard money lenders. We talked about private money lenders. Next one up is seller financing. So what is seller financing? Seller financing just means that you have worked out a deal with the seller themselves. So let's say somebody owns a $100,000 property and you're interested in buying it, but you just don't have the cash, or you can't get the bank to give you that loan. But you can absolutely do a direct deal with the seller and say, hey, would you be willing to fund this deal for me? And I'll pay you a monthly mortgage. They can say yes or no. If they say yes, guess what? You just got yourself a property. You just got yourself a property. And you can just pay them that mortgage and use the income that you're getting from your tenants to pay that mortgage off. How cool is that? How cool is that? It's a wild world out there. But yeah, that is absolutely possible. So learning how to structure deals is more important than having a big fat bank account. That's 100% true. Excuse number 2, I need perfect credit. I kind of addressed this already, but your credit doesn't have to be spotless to invest. There are creative financing methods, partnerships, and hard money loans, like I said before, so that they don't even check your credit score oftentimes. So you don't have to have the best credit to get it done. You just got to have the gumption. You have to get up and take action, and it's more of a mindset thing than anything else. I think a lot of people, this is probably not on my list, but a lot of people are just scared of real estate in general because we're told this is big, giant transactions, the biggest transaction of your life. It's the biggest investment of your life, and in a lot of cases it is, but it doesn't have to be as scary as you think it is. And there are ways to do it wisely. Excuse number 3, the market is too high right now. Good deals exist in every market. That's the reality. Every market's got a good deal. Because even a bad deal, if you make the right number, if you offer the right number on the bad deal, you could usually turn that into a good deal. That's the truth. So market conditions don't matter as much as the motivation of the sellers. So as long as you got a seller who's motivated, whether it be they're facing foreclosure, some kind of distress, I've seen it where, a family member dies or something like that, which is tragic, but, the family members they don't know what to do with the house. They don't know what else to do with it other than sell it, get rid of it, so do you find conditions like that? Foreclosure, like I said, there's all kinds of distress. There's tired landlords out there, people who are just absolutely tired of dealing with their tenants for whatever reason. A lot of times you'll find landlords who have self-managed the property and they've never raised the rent, and they're 10 years into this thing and their tenant's paying $500 a month. It's crazy stuff like that. So you have people who are just like, this is just not worth it. So the point is, motivation matters more than anything. It matters more than market conditions, because even in a downturn market, you can still create a great deal for yourself. So let's stop thinking so much in terms of the macroeconomics of things. You create your own economy. Create your own economy. I think Myron Golden says that. Create your own economy. The overall economy of the country does not have to impact your bank account. You get to decide that, and that's your choice. And but you don't have to allow like what Trump is doing or anybody else is doing in the government or these big macroeconomic conditions to stop you from investing in real estate, because you can absolutely get creative and get spunky and just make the right offer. And my mentor used to say that if the offer doesn't make you like a little uncomfortable, you're probably paying too much. It should make you feel silly making the offer. But that's how it goes. You make your money when you buy. So make a great offer and you can make a great deal. All right, excuse number 4. I don't know enough yet. That may be true. You don't need to be an expert to get started. Learning in the trenches a lot of times is better. Is absolutely better. I will say this: get a coach if you possibly can. Find somebody who can mentor you. Find somebody who can steer you away from some of the major catastrophes. But a lot of that in having a coach, even having a coach, there's a lot of freedom. There's a lot of things you can do to get creative. So you don't have to know every single thing. You should be learning, though. I will not say you shouldn't be learning. I do believe 100% in getting coached. I do believe in reading books. I do believe in YouTube University, learning from others' mistakes, But at the end of the day, you cannot become a real estate investor just by learning about it. At some point, you've got to get out there and you got to figure it out. You should do your due diligence and learn and grow and be like, I didn't know that. Read books about investing, listen to podcasts about investing. Bigger Pockets, for example. Not to steer you away from my channel. My channel is great. But Bigger Pockets, great example. You can learn a lot from other investors. Their whole website is geared towards helping investors and all this other stuff. But my point is, you don't have to know every single thing. You do not have to know every single thing. to get started. It's too risky. Excuse number 5, it's too risky. There's risk in anything. There's risk in crossing the street. There's risk in getting struck by lightning. There's risk in, everybody carries a small risk of getting eaten by a shark. There's a tiny chance, minuscule chance. Some people get eaten by the shark. I'm not saying you, but there's risk in life. Life is risky on every level. There's risk in anything. I'll tell you this like this. There's risk in having a W-2 job. It seems safe, but at any point in time, it's at will employment. The employer can say, hey, that's it. That's a wrap. Thank you for your service. Goodbye. Life is risky. Life is full of risk. But what you want to do is take calculated risk. What is the cost? What is the risk of you not taking action? Map out the trajectory of where you are in your life. And think that through. Think that through 10, 20, 30, 40 years from now. Where is that leading you? Because all the decisions you're making right now are leading you somewhere. Are you happy with the trajectory of where you're going? And if not, take action and do something about it. But there is risk in everything. And I think that every single successful person I've ever read about, learned about, been mentored by, they all have a capacity. They've all learned the capacity of expanding their risk tolerance. I'm not saying go out there and make foolish decisions. I am saying educate yourself to a certain extent. Learn as much as you need to make a logical decision, and then take action and don't second guess yourself. Move forward. That's what millionaires do. That's how they think. That's how they operate. And that's how you have to operate. If you want to become a millionaire, you have to be able to learn enough to make a logical, rational decision, and then go with your gut. Make that decision. Don't look back. Don't hesitate, and just move forward. Excuse number 6, I don't have enough time. The reality is you can make time for anything that's important to you. How much time? Now, I'm not knocking social media, but just bear with me for a second. How much time do you spend on social media? How many hours a week? That's an example. Or television. How many sports did you watch? Did LeBron James dunk the basketball? How many times did you watch him dunk the basketball as he makes millions of dollars? That's a good example, I guess. I'm not knocking sports. I enjoy the occasional, sport every now and then. I used to love watching Michael Jordan. I'm dating myself, but I still love watching Michael Jordan dunk the basketball. It's great. It's good stuff. But imagine if you took some of those hours and applied it to educating yourself, reading books, learning, taking action. I'm sure you can find a few hours to spend, growing yourself and growing your investment portfolio. I think everybody's got time like that they can free up, if we're all being honest, me included. First, I'm talking to myself. We've all got time to learn and grow and read books and develop ourselves and come up on a higher level if it's a priority. And it's all about prioritization. So I'm not knocking you guys. I am speaking to myself first and foremost. But yeah, we've all got time we can dedicate to learning and growing and taking action. And so that, 30 or 40 years from now, we are happy with where we are, or even 20 years or 10 years. Because we're all going, that time's going to go by regardless. As long as you keep breathing, that time is going to go by and you will end up somewhere and be somewhere. You want it to be a pleasant place. Excuse number 7, I'm afraid of losing money. Fear of loss is normal, like I said. I watched Free Solo a while back, and it's about a guy who climbed El Capitan. I think it's the largest granite face on Earth of rock. This is a big giant mountain, 3,000-foot vertical wall of granite, if you can imagine such a thing, with I think at times he was holding on to some of his handholds were like sticking out as far as a quarter or something crazy like that. He's just barely finding places to put his hand as he's climbing up this face of granite, and he did it without a rope. This maniac, well, I call him a maniac, but he's a very logical guy. But he climbed that mountain 3,000 feet for 4 hours without a rope. It's a monumental feat of human achievement. I mean, it was amazing. It's amazing he was able to do that. And if you asked him about how did he overcome his fears, he says something very interesting. I think it's very appropriate. He said, I didn't overcome my fears. I just expanded my risk tolerance. And I think that's what we all have to do if you're going to pursue any adventure in life. You got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. You got to get comfortable with learning and growing and pushing the boundaries of what you think you can and cannot accomplish, because you are able to do more than you're doing right now. I believe that. I believe you can do anything you put your mind to. I believe there's no challenge that you can't overcome. But you have to be okay with expanding your risk tolerance. He didn't minimize his risk. He didn't minimize his fear. He just expanded what he was comfortable in dealing with. If that makes any sense. Hopefully that makes some sense. Excuse number 8. Moving on. I don't know anyone in real estate. You know what? You don't need a network to get started. You build a network as you are doing the real estate. You will meet agents. You'll meet other investors. You'll meet title companies. You'll meet lawyers. Meet all these great people that could be on your team. You can go to local meetups, online communities, social media groups, Facebook groups, and you can start to develop your team as you go. And it's just like learning. You don't have to have it all in place. But as you're getting out there and shaking hands, doing deals, making transactions happen, you will start to find the people that you like to work with and just keep working with them. Action attracts allies. How cool is that? How cool is that? All right, excuse number 9. We're almost done, people. Almost done. Excuse number 9. What if I make a mistake? Guess what? You're going to. It's inevitable. You absolutely will make a mistake. But the cool thing is, most mistakes you can recover from. Most mistakes you can recover from. Let's be real. You're not on the open plains trying to take down a grizzly bear. Most mistakes you come across in life are not like life and death decisions. Most of the times, you're in real estate, and especially, you're not making a life and death decision. You can overcome even the biggest failures. People do it all the time. You can overcome those things. I think somebody said Walt Disney went bankrupt several times, like 2 or 3 times, and still yet became the founder of Walt Disney, the company that we know. And it says, I think something like most millionaires go bankrupt at least once in their lives. So I say all that to say, don't be afraid to make a mistake. Mistakes can be leading you down your path to greatness. You can fail your way to success. I listen to Les Brown a lot. Les Brown's a motivational speaker from the 80s and 90s. He's still around. But yeah, I like Les Brown. And one of the things he says is that you can fail your way to success. Imagine that. My dad says that to me too. You can fail your way to success. And that's the absolute truth. Because along the way, you'll get better and better and better and better until you know what? You've mastered it. You've reached a level of mastery and competence that is just taking you to the highest heights that you want to go to. All right, cool. Excuse number 10. Maybe I'm just not cut out for it. Believing you're not cut out is just fear in disguise. Real estate success is not about being a genius. It's about commitment, persistence, and learning and growing. So you're not going to be perfect. And just because you're not cut out for something initially doesn't mean you can't grow into the person that it will work for. I think, how does Myron Golden put it? He puts it a certain way that I love. I think it's very appropriate. You will become the person for whom this can work. As you're doing things, you are becoming the person for whom this thing can work. You're becoming that person through the struggles, through YouTube University, through the mentorships, through taking massive action, to trying and bumping your head on things you don't know or don't understand, but you keep persevering. Eventually, you become the person that it can work for. I like my listen to Myron Golden, and one of the things he says is like it took him 18 months to get his first deal. When he first got into sales, he went from being a trash man to selling insurance products and services, financial services. It took him 18 months to get his first deal. But then after that, he was closing deals, and became one of the top salespeople in his company over and over and over again, to the point where he started teaching and coaching other people how to be a great salesman. You're not going to be perfect at the beginning, but as you do these things, as you follow real estate investing, and learn and grow and develop yourself and get better and better and better, then you will become the person for whom this can work, and will start working for you and working exceptionally well. And then all your friends will be like, wow, how'd you do that? That's amazing. So in any case, hope you guys have enjoyed that. Hope you guys had some fun with me here today. Good to be back. I know it's been a while, but thank you so much. Hope you have a great day. Good night. Good luck. Bye-bye.